Coming up next on the Legacy Journeys podcast.
But he also talked about the backlash that Ashanti,
right, because he was saying he didn't realize that she would get the backlash, from it. Like I said earlier, they were saying, oh, she's raising a Trump-loving kid, and I'm like,
yeah, they were being cruel.
I'm like, they're reaching, really.
They were cruel though. I mean, and I'm sure they just only showed us a few,
right?
So you can imagine what kind of,
because they, again, when I was looking at it on TikTok, a lot of them brought that up. Like, they were done with him. He's canceled. They're not watching the show. And I'm like, you just gonna cancel everybody? Every black person that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Snoop, like, and then I'm like, do they really care? They don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
And this is my thing. If you're talking about it, you're still shedding light.
You are
on it.
Yes, you are. You're part of that whole
just
polarization.
Want to put that out there.
Pendulum. Thank you, baby. That's a good one. Because you are part of the pendulum, whether you're talking about it or you're telling people you're going to boycott the show.
Either way,
you're still giving juice to the show. So whether you're talking about the politics or saying you're not supporting the politics, you still giving juice to the politics.
Right.
Let's keep it real.
And you still giving juice to the person that you're talking about.
That you don't like.
That you don't like.
Facts.
So there's that.
There's that.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Legacy Journeys, where couples over 40 come to embrace the now, explore what's next, and evolve their relationship with real talk, real love, and a whole lot of laughter. I'm your host, Liv, along with my co-host,
Carlton, the host with the most, coast to coast. How y'all doing out there? And as always, you're looking really fresh, Liv.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love your style.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're so sweet.
I work on it. I
know you do.
Yeah.
I appreciate
it. Compliments are very important. Even though this episode is not about compliments, they are very important. Okay.
Make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And my shirt makes me feel good about myself too, because my baby got the shirt. I'm gonna get it out there in the frame so y'all can see it. Boom. So this is my Father's Day gift. Yeah. So we're gonna hop right into it. Have you all been watching Nelly and Ashanti's We Belong Together, their new reality show on Peacock? Check it out. We're going to do a review of the final two episodes, episodes 7 and 8, right? And if you like this review, definitely check out our other reviews of episodes 1 through 6. And we're going to go ahead and put that card right there, as well as in the description. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it up until this point, you're going to want to stop what you're doing.
Check it out.
Yes.
And then come back.
Yes.
Come back.
Yes.
And let us know what you thought.
Right. And listen, one more thing before we hop into it.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of views on our videos, our shorts, long form videos. We want y'all to do one thing for us. Since you're watching it this far, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. Okay, because that motivates us to keep on going. And there's a crazy disproportionate number of people who are watching and not subscribing. So show your folks some love.
Come on, now, y'all.
Yeah, so we're going to hop right on to it.
All right. And so the 7th episode is called Dilemma. And it starts with Ashanti and her mom discussing how she's been getting more gigs. She got some that was in South Africa.
And Ethiopia. Yeah.
And so, but at first she was just like, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right, yeah,
because it's so far away. And her mom, Miss Momager, was like, well, that's where the bag is, overseas.
Right.
So before you say no,
right,
you need to at least check out what they're saying and what they're offering before you just immediately turn it down.
Right.
And you know what? I love her. I ain't even mad. She about getting that money.
Yeah, Momager.
Yeah. She
Momager.
about that money.
Yeah.
Like, look, you got to work.
Right.
We got to work.
Right. And she was also talking about how indecisive Ashanti was because she's a Libra. And they flashed back to another clip where she was like, well, I don't really know.
She never know. And I was like, I just now thought about that. Yeah, she's always very indecisive about what she wants to do.
Right.
When it comes to like something major.
Right.
You know, and yeah, it was funny talking about she a Libra.
Right.
Like, nah, maybe.
I mean, it's the air sign for those people who are into
true.
that stuff like
that's
that.
True.
You know
that
what I mean?
True.
Into astrology and horoscopes.
Yeah.
So, and it was good that she brought that up. You know, and she needs a person like Momager in her life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So then the scene moves on, where the episode moves on to her and Nelly actually having dinner or lunch, and them talking about the touring as well, because he's on tour.
Right.
She's getting ready to start a tour, and now they got a baby.
Right.
Right? So KK.
Yeah.
So they got KK, and she was, you know, the discussion came up, which is one of the reoccurring themes. And y'all people out on social media have been tripping on this too, about Nelly not changing diapers of the newborn.
Yes. That has been a huge thing where I've seen comments about her being, again, a single wife.
Yeah, single married woman, right? Or something like that.
Single married woman. Something crazy.
Something they made up.
And I'm like, that man is 50 years old. I wouldn't want to change diapers either for my own kid. So I can imagine, especially if you can afford a nanny.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's not going to be hands-on or he don't want anything to do with the baby or he not going to help her. He's just saying he don't want to change diapers. And I honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that. There's a lot of men that are like that, unfortunately.
Right.
And then they had her.
Is it unfortunate though? Like,
I mean, fortunately or unfortunate?
I
don't know.
I've heard men say that too, though.
Because and she wants to be. The thing is, she is choosing to be hands-on. I mean, any new mom would want to be hands-on with their baby.
Exactly.
You know, and not to mention, to me, that little part where she was asking him about like how he could sleep.
Oh yeah. Through
him crying, it just didn't fit. It seemed like they stuck that in there, but it didn't really like fit because he was like, "Yeah, I got that." He said he could tune them out.
Yeah, he got something in his mind that could tune the baby out and just go to sleep.
Yeah, I could feel that. Where he don't hear it.
Right.
I don't hear it.
Yeah.
And she was like, and she looked like, I can't believe you can't hear it. And people were commenting about that.
Right. And I think it was a cutaway scene. It probably was one of those cutaway scenes, like a monologue scenes where they showing back and forth.
Okay, because it just didn't fit to me. It just looked out of place.
I think that's what it was. Like, it was a monologue that they had recorded of them two, you know, a dialogue. I don't know how to put the two people. Right. But you know how they do that, the little cutaway. Mm-hmm. And then they just infused it with the scene that they had recorded while they was in lunch. Yeah. To reinforce the issue. And
him not wanting to be hands-on with the baby, even though he's like, he can barely hold the baby because she always got him. So right. I don't know. I digress.
I think they, I'm glad you brought that up because I think they did that to create a little bit more hype.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's one of the running narratives.
Right.
You know, we've uncovered several like running themes up on the, you know, the different episodes. And that was one of them about him changing diapers.
Right.
You know, and later on in the episode, Ashanti has lunch with LL Cool J's wife,
Simone.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, because, you know, they've been together for years. They've been married 29 years. Mm-hmm. And it's good to have somebody that can relate to what you're going through.
Right.
Because she said, you know, well, she calls him Todd. When he's out working, he's on tour. Then he got movies, shows. So he was probably always gone.
Right.
And I think it takes that level of, you know, focus where you're not with your family like that. And this is going totally off script, but it just reminds me of when we watched the series with Shaq and Reebok and how his son was like, yeah, you missed a lot of events because you were working.
Right.
And so I can imagine. And I thought that was dope because, you need somebody who understands.
Yeah.
You know, and even though there's an age gap between them, you know what I'm saying? Like they still she seemed like a sister, like an older sister.
Oh yeah, they're close.
Yeah.
You could tell that they were close.
Yeah, you could tell that they were like they've been friends for a minute.
Right.
And so, yeah, like I said, I thought that was dope that she was just telling her, you know, like you got to pick your battles.
Mm-hmm.
And you do.
Yep. That was another reoccurring thing about picking your battles.
Right.
You know, and then another thing, she asked him, I believe she asked them where were they gonna live too.
Oh,
you know, everybody kept asking them where they gonna live.
Everybody, because that's the thing with them. They are in between New York, St. Louis, and the tour bus.
Right. Yeah, which is crazy.
Right. And so that's where they are.
Right.
And so I don't know. I think she really wants to be in New York.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know that they really had a luxury tax in New York. Like, I thought that shit was just on the Monopoly board.
Yeah, likewise.
I was like, they really got a luxury tax?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Because he was telling her, yo, we can afford to move to St. Louis, have a whole Italian family come in and cook for us.
Right.
And pay them a whole full salary and still pay less than living in New York and paying less tax.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I believe it.
Yeah.
Because, I did not know they had a luxury tax.
Yeah. So it's good to learn these different things about these different places when you're moving. You know, what is the
where you don't know what to expect.
Right.
And, you know.
What is the custom there?
Right.
You know? So that was pretty cool. And then they kind of ended that with a call from Lorraine Schwartz, who's the famed like jeweler for stars and stuff like that, celebrities. And they had been talking about it maybe a couple of times throughout the series, not a lot.
Where Ashanti is having a Nelly a wedding band made.
Yeah.
Because they kind of just got engaged and got married right away. Mm-hmm. And so there wasn't any time for her to get him a wedding band. And so she's having him one custom made.
Right.
And so she called, and so I guess they scheduled?
They just scheduled a time
to get together.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the review. But another fun part that they went into, the next scene was fun, and it was with Ja Rule
and his wife.
Yeah, at bowling, and I thought that was pretty cool.
And what was funny is Ashanti was like, "Oh, we're on a double date." He was like, "Don't call it that. Right. We still in the rap game.
Right, we're still in the rap game."
I'm like, why is a double date considered like not cool?
It's just the image, the sexy, quote unquote, available man, popular.
Oh,
this
so
is like
because
Usher.
Of that?
That's just like remember when Usher got married?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That I don't forgot the lady's name he got married to, but when he got married, like his sales and all kinds of stuff went down. Yeah, babe, people was criticizing
initially
everything.
Or the second one?
I'm
Tamika or the one now?
I think it was Tamika.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the one now. No.
Oh, okay.
There was all kind of backlash. And we're gonna talk about that too, like how the people on social media act. We've been talking about it throughout all our reviews.
Right.
But yeah, same thing. People how these people are gonna act in social media. So
but I just thought that was funny.
Uh-huh.
And Ja Rule ended up asking them also, so where y'all gonna live?
Yep.
And Nelly was like, well, I would like to meet somewhere in the middle. You know me, but of course Ashanti wants to live in New York.
Right.
And so there's like no other choice for her but New York. I mean, she likes St. Louis because of the family.
Right.
But other than that, I don't think she wants to live there.
Yeah, the vibe. So that's gonna be
I can't wait to see what they decide on.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be the reveal in the next season. Season 2. So y'all definitely stay tuned for that, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna have it figured out by then.
Right.
And also during that, they were talking about, they asked about the baby, and Nelly was like, man, I really can't do that. There's a lot of stuff I can't do. I can't smoke on the bus anymore.
He said he can't smoke on the bus, and they gave each other a hug because he was like, Ja Rule was like, oh man, you can't smoke.
The bus ain't the bus no more. Oh, then they came and gave each other an embrace like, I'm so sorry for you, brother. I'm so sorry for you.
I was like, yo, I could relate.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was like, well, his lungs thank me,
Right,
and the baby's lungs thank me. And I'm like, yo.
Yeah, it was pretty good because you could tell they had some over the years. They probably had some good times on the bus. You know, ain't no telling what they was doing on that bus. You know, what I'm saying? Man, 50, he been in the game since he was in his 20s. So,
right. Yeah, ain't no telling.
So, and it's probably a different bus. It ain't no telling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Ja Rule gets it, and that's another thing. Like with having the close friends who can relate to what you're going through.
Right.
And Ja Rule did tell them. He said that their relationship reminded him of he and Aisha's relationship.
Right.
You know, and I thought that was pretty cool.
They were like friends and they're always laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I said, maybe that's why I can relate to them as well. Because they kind of remind me of us, me and my husband, because we always laughing about something,
right?
Just cracking up, and we enjoy each other's company. So I thought that was dope that he said that, because I'm like, yeah, their relationship kind of remind us of ours, because if you see them, they're always laughing. And then why somebody said something about that, like she always laughing. I'm like, the bitch can't be happy.
Right. Look, we're going to talk about this when we talk about the finale. Mm-hmm. But like Angie Martinez asked her, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you? And she was like 1,000.
Like 1,000. And I'm like, you could see it.
Right. What are these folks doing?
I don't know. I'm still, you know what? I ain't even trying to figure it out. I don't even give a damn. They just crazy and want something to talk about, like something negative. And I'm sure a lot of them are probably single and not married. Yes, I said it. Sorry, not sorry.
Shots fired.
Pow, pow. Yeah.
But you know what about controversy too? You know, the next scene came in where Nelly said him and Ashanti were back home.
Okay.
And Nelly was like, hey, I got an invite. I've been asked to perform at the Inauguration Ball.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know. I know Snoop got some flack for performing.
Oh, yeah, he did.
I didn't even know Nelly was even invited and got flack for that until watching the
reality show.
I
didn't hear about that either.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. I did hear about it, but I didn't know what all was being said.
Okay.
And apparently, you know, people were saying that, oh, they gonna raise a Trump-loving
child.
I'm like...
Yeah, people were really mean and nasty. So he didn't know... Well, he didn't originally start off saying he was going to take it. He was just excited about it. And he was sharing it with her. He was
asking Ashanti what she thought. And she was like, what? Are you serious?
Right.
And she told her mom.
Right.
Tima. And Tima was like, okay, that's a problem.
Right. And Tima, a.k.a. is also Momager, too. So,
yes.
You know, we throwing her around. Yeah, so Momager.
Yes.
Which is her
mom.
Her
name is Tina, but Ashanti calls her Tima, Momager, all that.
Yeah.
And so...
She got as many nicknames as I do.
Okay, as popcorn.
Right.
Tima was like, that's a problem because Ashanti's grandfather, her father, was part of the civil rights movement.
Right.
Where he actually marched with Martin Luther King.
The King?
The King. You marched with Dr. Martin Luther King?
You ain't never met Dr. Martin Luther King. For our Coming to America fans out there.
Oh, Lord. And so, you know, so basically, you knew how she felt.
Right. Yeah.
And then she asked Ashanti, and Ashanti wouldn't really say. She was like, she don't like talking about her views on politics.
Right.
But you could tell that she wasn't happy about it. But she wanted to support her husband.
Right.
Because her mom was like, well, what are you going to do? And she was like, it's up to him. Whatever he decides he's going to do. And it just so happened that in that same scene, he comes back and he's like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. And he shared why. He was basically saying that he comes from a military family and, you know, honoring the office of president. He said the voting and the politics are over.
Right.
You know, as far as that part is concerned. And that's just part of what happens once a president gets elected. You know, they have an inauguration ball.
Yeah. And so, I mean, and I thought about it. I'm like, how would I feel if that, like, say if that was Carlton, if he was still in the hip hop group and was invited to perform, like, how would I feel? And then I thought about it, I'm like, nigga, you better make that fucking money. Hell, switch it. Yeah, I can't stand Trump. However, if he's willing to pay my husband to perform at his ball, shit, you ain't gotta like him. Just go and get your money and bounce.
Right.
Like, that doesn't mean that there's some type of alliance or, allegiance. I don't know.
And he was also, Nelly, he was also talking about, other networking and things that he can do to help out the community.
Right.
Help the community get scholarships. Because Nelly's deep in the community. If you all looked at the last video where we talked about the black and white ball and things like that, where he's providing, scholarships and helping people go to school and doing things for the African American community. So, yeah, if he can take that money and funnel it back,
and network, and then that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or, I mean, like I said, switch it around. Like, yo, if Donald Trump is willing to pay him $5 million to perform, like, why wouldn't you take it? Because people were like, oh, well, just say it was about the money, or, like, he got to lie. Like, why he got to lie?
Right.
About
it was an opportunity. He's like, it's an opportunity. He's like, and no other president
asked
Nelly
asked
to do
him
shit.
To perform. That's how he said. Asked him to do shit.
Right.
And so, and he thought that was an honor to perform at the White House.
Right.
So let us know what y'all think about this.
That's a
like
good
I
discussion.
said, I didn't see anything wrong, and I had to think about if that was my man, how would I feel? And I would want him to get that money. Yeah. Even if it's from Trump's
a different political party,
right. If he's willing to pay him what he's worth,
right?
Why not?
And in actuality, too, just thinking about politics, it was the party itself, and not specifically like Donald Trump called him up. Now Donald Trump could have called him up,
I mean,
but the party hired him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So let's make that clear.
Right.
Now that brings us to our discussion prompts for that particular episode. It says, would you support your partner performing at an event that challenges your personal or family values? And that's a question you just basically raised, like, yo, you better get out there and
make
get
that money.
And next, is it fair to expect traditional roles like no diapers when co-parenting in a modern relationship? Now, granted, he's 50, so we definitely want to know what you guys think about that, especially from our over 40 crew.
Right. And when the husband is rich and can afford a nanny.
Right. Exactly.
Because I get Ashanti wanting to be hands-on because that's her first baby. And he ain't saying he ain't going to deal with the baby if he don't care about the baby. Right. It's just while he's an infant,
right?
Until he's talking and walking, she got him.
Right. Or the nanny got it.
Or the nanny got
Or
him.
the grandmama's got it.
Not that he don't want to see him. He don't want to spend time with them.
Right.
But again, he's going to be on tour, so he can't be all that hands-on.
Right.
So let us know what y'all think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one
is what do double dates with longtime friends reveal about a relationship's health? And I think that's a good thing. Because you get to hang out with your friends, you get to share and express some things.
Oh, right. Especially if you're in the same industry.
Right.
It's good to have that camaraderie, and you can understand what, you all have to go through in trying to maintain and sustain that relationship.
Right. Because at that level, is not many people that can, share what you're experiencing.
Right.
They can't concept it.
Right.
So that's the real truth.
Right.
So that brings us to
episode 8,
the finale,
which is The Way I Love You.
And that starts with a morning scene of Nelly and Ashanti discussing KK's 6-month birthday party. Yo.
Yeah, because the theme was baseball. And it was like
halfway
to first.
Right, that was her theme. It's like halfway to first.
Halfway to
6
first
months.
years old.
He's almost halfway to
old.
a year.
To a year old.
Right.
Nelly was saying anybody who would have that type of, I guess, birthday theme really don't understand baseball like
the rules
that.
Of baseball.
Right, the rules of baseball, because halfway to first base
is
means
out.
You out.
Right. So that was
you don't win shit. You
right,
don't
you're
get
out.
shit for being halfway to first.
Go back to the dugout.
So
wait on your next at bat.
He didn't understand the concept of it.
Right. He did, but it was just funny.
But it was just
like
like
that shit was hilarious.
Comparing it to baseball.
Right. She was like, yeah,
She was like, it's halfway to first. Like, yeah, you out.
Right. The conversation then moves to him talking about what happened at the inauguration.
Right.
And I thought that was pretty cool because he got a chance to share that he did perform and how he felt about it. And he also said it was an HBCU band. And for those that don't know what that means, historically black college and university. Okay. And I don't want to assume y'all know what that means. So he said a HBCU band was there. He didn't say which one, but he said he wanted to talk to them and find out how they felt about performing at the inauguration. He said that would have been a nice conversation to have with them to see how they actually felt about it. Because think about it, they're at an HBCU school, historically black, school. So yeah, I'm sure they have some opinions about politics. Yeah. So yeah, that would have been nice. I'm glad he was thinking about that. But he also talked about the backlash that Ashanti,
right, because he was saying he didn't realize that she would get the backlash, from it. Like I said earlier, they were saying, "Oh, she's raising a Trump-loving kid," and I'm like,
"Yeah, they were being cruel."
I'm like, they're reaching. Really,
they were cruel though. I mean, and I'm sure they just only showed us a few,
right?
So you can imagine what kind of,
because they. Again, when I was looking at it on TikTok, a lot of them brought that up. Like, they were done with him. He's canceled. They're not watching the show. And I'm like, you just gonna cancel everybody? Every black person that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Snoop, like, and then I'm like, do they really care? They don't give a shit.
No, they don't.
And this is my thing. If you're talking about it, you're still shedding light.
You are
on it.
Yes, you are. You're part of that whole
just
polarization.
Want to put that out there.
Pendulum. Thank you, baby. That's a good one because you are part of the pendulum. Whether you're talking about it or you're telling people you're going to boycott the show,
either way,
you're still giving juice to the show. So whether you're talking about the politics or saying you're not supporting the politics, you still giving juice to the politics.
Right.
Let's keep it real.
And you still giving juice to the person that you're talking about
that you don't like. Facts.
So there's that.
Now, we're going to get off our soapbox.
Right.
And the next scene, because it moved into another fun segment, and that was the girls' slumber party.
Oh,
the girls' night slumber party that they had at Ashanti's at the house.
Right, in New York. And Simone was there, her publicist, and some family friends, or whatever.
Yeah,
family.
Good friends and family.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And of course, the reoccurring themes were the baby, where y'all gonna live, and then they talked about how is the marriage going as well. So that was pretty cool. Some of the sisters in there, they shared different things about their relationship as well.
Right.
And they also talked about sisterhood in there too. Just being able to have like that sister circle. That a lot of ladies have. And brothers have it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the whole fraternity up there, so brothers have it too.
I would want it, but I don't have it. But anyway, that's another story.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm like, not all of us have that.
Well, you got some people that you can talk to. That's a whole different thing. All right. All right. So the story moves on to an interview with Angie Martinez.
Yes.
The one we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned on the last episode to check out an interview, but it was with both of them.
Right.
This was with Ashanti by herself.
Right.
And Angie, again, asked her, how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And she said 1,000. And I believe her because she looked it.
Right.
even without makeup, like she's just glowing to me.
Yeah, she looks really happy.
Yeah, she looks really extremely happy, and I'm happy for it.
Right. And then one of the big things in that particular interview was about Irv Gotti passing away. And for those who don't know, Irv Gotti was the CEO and founder of Murder Inc. Records, which, it was Ashanti's record label, Ja Rule's record label, and they made plenty of hits. Right. And, and she was basically saying how she asked her, well, let's talk about Irv, and then Ashanti shared that they weren't in a good place when he passed away. Right.
Like, I don't think they were talking.
Yeah.
And she said that she felt terrible about it because, years ago, well, she was saying that it was good that they were able to make music together, and, her son will know and see that. Like, you can't take that away with all they've accomplished when they were together.
Right.
And then what was also interesting was Momager was saying that when she first heard about Murder Inc., she was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I need to go
and then
check that out.
Because Ashanti was saying, yeah, we going to the crack house.
Right.
And she was like, wait a minute, I'm going with you. Like, what the hell is that? And then she was saying that she didn't know that Murder Inc. meant like we murder hits.
We murder music, yeah.
That's where it came from.
And the crack house was they make the music there and it's so good it's like crack.
Crack.
So yeah, it had references to drug and crime and stuff, but
okay. Because I didn't know that. So that was a tidbit of information.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then so lastly they showed Ashanti. Well, not lastly, but the next scene was them in the Sprinter van on the way to pick up the ring.
Oh,
and, they was having their little witty banter conversation in there.
Right.
And Nelly made that reference to like one of the Friday scenes when Ice Cube grabbed Nia Long. Was like, did he grab you like this? Or was it like this?
Right.
And so that was pretty funny.
But what did he say that in reference
I don't remember. I just remember that, and we started laughing. We was like, yo, where did that come from?
Because I know they were talking about the ring and picking up the ring, and she was like, oh, what you about to be on the tour for a year, you gonna have your wedding band on.
Right.
And she, I guess she thought he was gonna get some pushback. He was like, nah,
he ready for it.
I'm ready.
Yeah, he was ready for it.
And I was like, yo, that's what's up. That's what I'm talking about.
And he said he was getting all kind of and he said he was getting all kind of backlash from social media as well for not having a ring on.
But saying, one thing, but Nelly, he ain't gonna wear a ring.
Right.
I don't care what.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God.
These folks, man, I tell you what, they can sit behind these keyboards and
just talk so much shit.
Oh, crazy.
Like, and I'm like, how did y'all all gather this in 8 episodes?
Right. Exactly. I don't even want to get into how these folks think.
I don't even. Let's go with what's the last thing.
Exactly. So one of the last scenes was them actually showing him at the jeweler, Lorraine Schwartz, picking up the ring. And they also, it was cool because she gave KK she made a little necklace for KK.
A little diamond encrusted.
Yeah, it was nice.
Initials on the necklace. Yeah, it was cute.
So that was cool. So that was like a special gift that she gave them. But Nelly's ring was dope.
Oh yeah,
it was dope.
Because it was like diamonds, and then on the
bottom part of it said I love you.
Right, say I love you. Because on Ashanti's ring, her is inscripted with I love you as well.
Correct.
And so they both have matching,
matching rings, basically.
Basically.
Yeah, matching rings.
And then she was saying that her ring was like
11 carats.
11.5 carats. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that thing is huge.
It's huge. It's nice, but it's too much for me.
It looked like this on her finger, y'all.
Yeah, it looked like a big-ass golf ball.
It looked like that on her finger. That's not a bad thing, though. I'm just saying, we're just trying to give y'all a reference. Yeah,
it's
right?
just, to me, it's a lie.
Yeah, it was
but
big.
It's nice.
Mm-hmm. And then she asked the reoccurring question, where y'all gonna live?
So everybody's asking them this question. Mm-hmm. So that's why we figure come season 2, they'll probably have an answer for us.
Yep. And so the final scenes of it, it showed them in close-ups and monologues, and that the whole season basically recapped their first year being married.
Right.
And then things that they may have learned. And again, one of the things was about picking their battles, you know what I'm saying, in order to navigate their relationship, and grow in their relationship. So thought that was pretty cool. And then we got some discussion questions. So how do you protect your relationship from outside noise, especially online criticism?
Right.
Because that's big. You can let this stuff get in your ear, and then it's poison, and then that stuff may start affecting your relationship.
Right.
So you have to be to that, like, seriously, like water off a duck's back.
Just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Because don't get caught up in that. Because they don't know you or your relationship.
Exactly.
They're just talking
exactly. Again. And that piggybacks to the next question. And are the people who are saying that Ashanti should leave Nelly really thinking it through? Is she supposed to be single because he won't change diapers? Like, right. Is she supposed to be single? Like, I'm just gonna leave you.
And then what's she gonna do? Or what you gonna do? Take care of her?
Right.
Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My question to those critics are, like you just said, are you gonna take care of her? Are y'all coming in the Ashanti's house to change the diaper? I want to know that. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all would, because she gonna pay you. But are you gonna do it? You gonna tell her to leave her man so you can come and do it?
Right. Like
what kind of brains y'all got?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next
ridiculous.
one. Yeah, ridiculous. The next one is, does picking your battles actually strengthen a relationship or just delay real issues? That's a deep question. So what do y'all think about that? When they saying that, are they just sweeping things under the rug that's gonna cause emotions later?
No, I just feel like everything can't be a battle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the thing with Nelly.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to pick and choose what you gonna fight for.
Right. Yeah, because you get to keep what you fight for. You get to keep.
Exactly, and everything is not worth a battle or a fight over.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and the last question is, what role does community play in relationship success? They had the sisters gathering together, and the Ja Rule and his wife, Simone having the lunch. So you had Angie Martinez.
It plays a vital part.
Yeah.
And making sure they, stay grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? It's going to help them stay grounded in their relationship. You know what I mean? You need that. You need people like that to help you stay grounded in your relationship.
Right.
So I think it was good. And we want to know what y'all think about the show.
Overall.
Yeah. So are you all excited about seeing what happens in season 2? Do you think it was garbage? You know what I'm saying? Season 1 was garbage. Do you think it was a waste of time? Did y'all learn something? I got tons of questions.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Yeah. So, because we liked it.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to season 2 and to see where they decide to live at. Because that's a big deal.
Right.
They're 2 totally different locations, and not only that, just to see how their relationship survives with him being on tour, because he's going to be on tour for a year.
Long time, yeah.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot. And then she's getting ready to go on
and tour. Then she has, gigs that she's working on too.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm interested to see how they navigate through that.
Yep. So y'all definitely leave it in the comments. So we got plenty of questions for you guys to answer, guys and ladies, to answer. And so we like to hear it. Drop it in the comments. And if you're getting some value from these videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit that thumbs up button.
Yes.
So we know that you like it. And make sure you share it with somebody who saw the show or is thinking about watching the show. Share it with them so they can get some other opinions. Maybe they can give us some input in our comments as well about it. So, let's have a discussion, because they're a couple over 40 and they're married, and they got a new kid, but there are other kids in the blended family. And these are all things that we talk about here at the Legacy Journeys podcast.
Yes,
so with that being said, this has been Carlton.
And I'm Liv.
And this is the Legacy Journeys podcast, where we embrace, explore, and evolve relationships. We'll see y'all on the next episode. Peace.